The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. Things you didn't know you needed to know today. It's News-ish with Betty.
When someone is given a terminal diagnosis, it's difficult for that person, including the family.
Yeah.
The family walks through it with them. But companies like Eternos are trying to ease some of that pain by helping those facing death, creating an AI copy of themselves for their family to talk to.
I really do like this because
do?
AI has gotten so good. I've seen so many people like in real life or in movies where they know that they're going to not be around long term, and so they do videos for their family and their kids throughout the years that they watch every year. And it's heartbreaking, but it's beautiful at the same time. The ability for AI to have them hear from their loved one like for the rest of time in their voice, I think is kind of cool.
So here's how it works. You train your AI copy. You're given 150 questions to answer about you and your life. And this gives your AI copy the ability to learn your personality, mimic your voice, and even generate new ideas similar to what you might think up. So let's say you leave behind kids that maybe need some advice. They could ask you for your AI copy for advice, and it would generate the answer that it thinks you would give them.
That's where it gets a little sketch, or a little scary, because it is still AI creating something. But the being able to hear the voice of your loved one in some fashion, I think, is really cool.
Yeah. It's not cheap, though.
Oh, really?
And it might be cheaper than you think. I don't know. The cost is somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000.
Oh, that's way higher than I thought.
Oh, it is. Okay. But that is a one-time cost. So you're not
doesn't
leaving
matter.
your family with any debt.
So it's like rich people getting to remember
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
It's not the average Joe getting to.
Yeah, so if you're the average Joe, save those voicemails.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's it.
Let's be honest.
That's true. I mean, it's
no,
true.
you're right.
My-
It's sad but true.
My wife has voicemails and Marco Polos from her dad that she's kept just for when she wants to see him or hear him again. So
Poor man's
Yeah.
AI copy.
it really is. So you know what? If you're not in that tax bracket, save them all. Uplifting WayFM, this is the Wally Show. And recently, Betty Rock decided that she wants to take a class in something. And Betty Rock, what is that class?
It's Pilates.
Okay.
So I had no idea what Pilates was. To me, it's in that world of yoga and whatever else you're going to say, like an exercise class.
Right.
But I saw some videos on TikTok of these girls doing Pilates, and I was like, oh, that seems low impact. It seems like I don't have to work up too much of a sweat.
Seems like you get to buy a cute outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get a new Pilates
It
outfit.
could be fun.
Yeah.
The thing is you have to find your thing. Like if running is not for everyone, it's definitely not for me. But I could get behind Pilates.
Okay.
I don't know. I need to take a class and see.
Okay, so you're going to go to a class, but what is the pro tip for Pilates classes? Like your first time, you're going for the first time, what maybe did you not know that you needed to know that you can help Betty out with? Because it's weird, like when you go to something for the first time, you don't know the ins and outs. Like I play pickleball. When you go to pickleball, like every court is a little bit different about how you stack your paddles, and if you do it wrong, you mess everybody up and they give you the side eye. And then no one wants to play with you.
I do need to know these things because I don't want to be the one. Like if you don't know what Pilates is, you pretty much you lay on this mat and there's like these. You know what that was like Bowflex. Do you remember Bowflex back in the 90s? So it's kind of like that. And
yeah, it's like pulleys and you pull on it.
But if you don't pull, I don't have much muscle mass.
Yeah.
And so what happens if I pull forward and then my arms just snap back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You just launch yourself.
Maybe I should sit in the back of the class. I don't know.
Yeah. So
maybe I should sit in the front.
I don't know. Yeah. So there are all kind of things that maybe she needs to know. So what's your pro tip on starting a Pilates class for Betty Rock? 855 33 way FM. We appreciate the help because I don't want to see her embarrass herself and then not go back.
I mean, at least I embarrass myself constantly, but at least, try and help me on this one time.
Yeah, exactly. And don't wear any Wally Show gear when you go, please.
Hey!
I don't want to be associated with it in case it's really bad. 855-33 way FM is the number. We'd love to get your tips now. 855-33 way FM. So, Julie, have you done Pilates?
I have. I'm currently doing it. I've been doing it for 4 weeks.
Oh, only 4 weeks.
So
okay.
you're brand new, too. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your experience with it?
I would say go in with an eased, empty mind, like where you're just looking to learn new, like, placement of, like, your body. Not to try to be too, like, strict and tight, but just really, like, easygoing and ask for help if you need it.
Okay, body placement. You know what I would do? And I'm not a Pilates person, but like
It's
my
never
body
stopped you
placement.
before.
I know, this is my expert advice. I would place my body at an ice cream shop.
I'm there with you. Post Pilates.
She already wants to quit 4 weeks in. She's signing up for one she's never been, and she doesn't want to look like a dork.
Okay, so my best suggestion is to speak to the instructor and just let her know it's your first time there, first class. And if you have any kind of injuries or weaknesses that you want to focus on, let them know and they can adapt any of the stretches and exercises to help those areas of your concern.
I don't feel like I have any weaknesses, maybe
Mentally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're there. Yeah.
But physically,
Well, you got to go to a different kind of class for the mental stuff.
that's true. It's a different
Yeah,
kind of
you do.
Pilates.
You actually need a doctor for that one, not a Pilates instructor named Raven.
Right? The Raven knows what she's doing.
That's right.
Betty's love of crime shows has me concerned because I think that she's not learning how to protect herself, but rather how to set me up for a crime.
Oh, I for sure am.
It's a Gone Girl situation is what I'm thinking.
I'm glad I've got you right where I want you.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. You know, you need someone in your life that will set you up for success, not failure.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt with CCU. I mean, I felt intimidated considering going back to school as an adult after being out for so long, but I was set up for success with CCU from my first conversation all the way to graduation. Most classes are only 5 weeks long, which means you can earn your degree and still have time to do whatever you want.
Yeah, 5-week classes, that's even good for people with like ADHD. Like for
Like
me,
you.
I know I needed short classes so I could focus when I went back to school because Betty Rock and I kind of lived the same life.
Find out more about how you can pursue your passion and find your calling with Colorado Christian University at online.ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a nonprofit impact partner.
With so much drama in the news,
I hate drama, so there you go.
You love drama.
I know I do, right?
this is a drama-free zone. It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
Betty Lou, how dumb do you feel?
All the time?
Oh, no, sorry. I was clearing my throat. I had to pause. When you watch Jeopardy.
All the time, for sure. They ask questions that I can't think fast enough. That's
No.
my problem.
And like they ask you questions that I don't know how anyone knows the answer. Like the science of determining a tree's age by looking at growth rings. Answer: what is dendrochronology? Who's gonna know that? You know?
Nobody.
No, exactly. But the good news is there now is a Jeopardy spinoff for you, Betty Lou,
Wonderful.
and for me as well. It's called Pop Culture Jeopardy.
Oh,
Yes.
hey, now I could get on this.
I know you could.
Yes, I could do this.
This could be really, really good. So it's basically that spinoff. It has a little bit different of a format. It's going to have a contestant. They're going to form in teams of 3, and they're all expected to be experts in different pop culture categories like alternative rock, the Avengers, Broadway, MMA, Gen Z, Zendaya, whatever, you know. And they're doing it tournament style. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. But they haven't announced the release date for it yet.
Okay.
But they also haven't announced a host yet. Who do you think would be a good host
pop culture?
for Pop Culture Jeopardy?
Ooh.
I was thinking Harry Styles.
No.
Because
no,
he is
he's
like a
too
pop
big.
culture icon, but he's also...
I know, it needs to be somebody, though, that's involved, but yet still small.
But he has a British accent.
It sounds like you really want him.
No, I'm not lobbying for him. I'm just saying, thought it might be good.
Gosh, that's a tough one. Oh, Kaylee Cuoco.
Oh, you just like Kaylee Cuoco.
I think she's fashion.
Yeah,
but
she
wouldn't
would be
she
good.
make for a great one?
Yeah, I think she would be good. Yeah,
or
that's
Jennifer
a good one.
Garner.
Too smart. I think Jennifer
she
Garner
is
too
pretty
smart. Sorry,
yeah.
Kaylee.
Wow.
I think Kaylee Cuoco's a good option, or maybe in a pinch you go with Turd Ferguson. I think that would be the perfect.
It's a big hat.
Yeah, I think it'd be a
It's kinda
perfect
funny.
full circle SNL kind of thing. I think that would be a good
agree.
idea.
I love it.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show, and we've talked about this sometimes. Like prayer at small group can be a little weird, where it's like, okay, pray for my sister's, aunts, cousins, dogs, hind leg, and like, okay, I got you. Or traveling mercies or things like that. But then there's always the unspoken prayer requests. Those always lead you to wonder what's going on. And I came across this TikTok with someone talking about what it's like to have unspoken prayer requests.
Does anyone else have a prayer request they would like to share? Yes, I have an unspoken prayer request. All right, let's remember this need then. Wait, what does that mean? What are we supposed to be praying for? It means my need is personal and I don't want to share the details about it with you. Okay, but then why did you bring it up? Because I would still like prayer for my situation. Okay, fine, but if you're not going to tell me, then I don't guess I'm going to pray about it. What's important is that God knows the need even if we don't. Well, since God already knows and he doesn't want us to know, why bring it up at all? Because I would like for you to all help me pray about it. I'm not praying for anything until you tell me what I'm supposed to be praying about. Because now I'm wondering what crazy situation you got yourself in that is such a secret you can't even tell us about. See, this is why I don't want to talk about it, because everyone tries to get all up in my business. Okay, I think now would be a good time to wrap this up. Maybe we should go ahead and pray. Fine, but I'm just going to assume that you need prayer because you're a murderer or something. No, that's not it. That's not what I need prayer for. Lord, I ask that you would help my troubled friend who may or may not be going to jail for a very long time for a crime they did or did not commit.
I love that. Oh, that makes me laugh. Because the unspoken is one of those, it's almost like vague booking,
Yes.
Where you're like,
Yes.
okay, do you really want people to ask you or not? I don't know.
And I do admit, though, I mean, besides it being a bit annoying, people need to have a space where they can get prayer from people
Right.
for situations that they don't want to go into detail about.
Right.
So I get it.
Well, that's why it's great that we have our prayer wall. Our prayer wall is great.
Yes.
Because you can do it anonymously. You can have people praying for you, and you can say whatever you want to say or not want to say, and you'll get notifications when people pray for you. It's great. You can text PRAY to 91979 if you want to do that. But what I want to have the conversation about is, why do you think it's important for other people to be praying for you, even if they don't know what they're praying for on like an unspoken? Maybe you've walked through this before and you needed it, and I'm just curious what you get out of that or why you feel that is important, okay? And because you might help frame somebody or reframe somebody's thought on prayer and unspoken.
And by somebody, he means himself.
I mean me. 100% I mean me. 855-33-WAY-FM. Wait, every week at our prayer thing, the unspoken that you do, is that for me?
Maybe it is. maybe not.
855-33-WAY-FM. I just like your perspective on this for sure. 855-33-WAY-FM. How have you seen it's important for you to have other people praying for you, even if they don't know what to pray for?
I had found out at one time that I had cancer, and I had a lady that worked for me but had been on leave for having a baby, and I hadn't talked to her in 2 years. And she called me out of the blue, not knowing anything, and said, God woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning to pray for you. Not sure why, but I just wanted to let you know that I prayed for you.
Oh, wow.
And I just thought that was amazing that, she did not know why she was praying, but God knew why she was praying, and she listened. So I will remember that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I can imagine that too, especially where someone tells you, hey, this is why. I don't even know why, but I just felt like I needed to tell you this. And that would increase your faith as well as you're walking through that. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's a great example of an unspoken prayer request that God's working on all behind the scenes that maybe we don't see. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you.
Why are they important for people to be praying for you, even if they don't know what they're praying for?
Well, if you're going through a difficult struggle, if, say, someone were being abused or being harassed, you need that prayer for your own emotional support and to feel like the more people praying, the better the response, so to speak. But you also don't want to share that information. You don't want to let someone know that you or your loved ones are being abused or harassed.
So how do you then, if you're in that situation, how have you found yourself praying for the unspoken then? That might help somebody else out that hears it and is like, well, I don't even know what to do with this, So how do you pray for that, do you think?
How do I pray for that? I would say, Lord, please help my friends. I don't know what their situation is, Lord, but you know what their situation is. And I just ask that you help them with whatever they're going through.
I think the important thing on this too, though, I do believe this part of it is letting people know that you're praying for them and you're legit doing it, even if you don't know the circumstance. And this is why, because the reason they ask for that is that they want people to take their cause to God, and they want to not feel alone in something. That's why on our prayer wall, when you post a prayer request, people who pray for you can click a box that says, I just prayed for this. And so you get notifications that people are praying for you, whether they know what they're praying for or not. And I think that kind of reminder that you're being lifted up is just as important for you as the prayer itself.
Absolutely.
And you can check out the prayer wall when you text PRAY to 91979.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. Much to Gavin's chagrin, we don't do a lot of sports on the show because Betty and I are not the sportiest. But he does love sports. So from time to time, we let him bring in a sports story. Yay, sports.
Yay, sports. And Yay, sports comes to us courtesy of TikTok today, where there's a video of a kid confronting an opposing pitcher in a youth sports or youth baseball game after, a scary incident, leaves him upset, all this stuff. But the headline does say, this kid confronts opposing pitcher. And so you think, oh, man, this kid's probably charging the mound.
Right, you've seen it 1,000 times in major league games.
Yeah.
The pitcher hits a batter drops the bat, runs and charges the mound. So that's what the headline leads you to believe, but that's not the story.
No, the twist is that the kid left the mound to hug the pitcher because the pitcher was upset that he hit him and could have really hit him because, that was an accident. When you have these kids, I remember playing baseball. If you're a pitcher...
I remember crying when I got hit playing baseball.
I do, actually, though. But for a kid who obviously has no ill intent, throwing a pitch, it gets away from him, hits the kid, hurts him, and for that kid to go, oh, I am hurt in this moment, but I'm going to go comfort the other person who obviously is emotionally distraught by this, it's awesome to see that, but the headline where you're expecting something negative is the part that's kind of a bummer.
It's heartwarming video for sure, because the kid walks off the mound and he does something that again, guys aren't the best at showing emotion or whatever. So the pitcher is kind of breaking down. The kid goes over and hugs him, and not for just a split second, hey bro, tap it out, hug. He holds him and hugs him for a little bit, and then everybody comes in, and it just goes to show you that little bit of somebody doing the right thing. It's contagious, and everybody comes in. But the big part of this, though, is the headline. Pitcher confronts batter confronts pitcher. They know that it's a great video, but to get us to watch it, they still sell it with the negative.
That's a good point.
The saddest part of this whole story.
Because we want to see the drama.
Yeah,
sometimes.
if it was great sportsmanship by two kids on a little league field, pass, swipe, but confrontation. Oh, I gotta see this, and then you get the goodness. But to me, the sad commentary of this whole story is the way they sold it to get you to watch it.
Absolutely, but if you did watch it, you watch something wholesome.
It definitely is a win if you watch it for sure. Yeah, that's on TikTok, and that's Yay Sports.
It's today's Music Insider, or TMI, with Gavin.
I recently learned that Matthew West and I have something in common, and I'm not happy about it.
Oh, really?
My wife and I recently got rear-ended, and our car flipped. It was a major accident, and we're super grateful to God that we are alive and safe, and we're trying to figure things out after the fact. But I also learned recently that Matthew West recently got in a car accident where the car had hydroplaned and it hit the stone median on the highway. He said that he's okay. Car's banged up.
Thank the Lord Matthew's good. Thank you. I mean, I think we all are Lord, thank you for protecting Matthew. and Matthew, your grace is sufficient.
Oh, he's a good God, am I right?
And thank goodness he has the money to pay for all the damages for himself.
Yeah.
I could not be more thankful in this moment. Gavin.
I would love some Matthew West financial help. Okay, all that aside, I personally I've gone through some ripples of how is my faith impacted by this crash myself, but I like how Matthew reflected on where his faith was at and where things were at in his head after the car crash.
What my first reaction was is I was trying to control the vehicle and not flip over. I just remember saying dear Jesus, help me, like screaming that, dear Jesus, help me. I remember a moment when I was a little kid. My mom thought she was going to get in a wreck. I was in the seat next to her and she put her arm over me and she shouted the same thing, like, dear Jesus, help us. I guess I just want to tell you that story because I know that God hears us when we pray. I know that God is good. I know that God is faithful. I know beyond the shadow of a doubt that he had his hand on my life this morning.
Do you think that Matthew, like, when his car was spinning, Jesus, take the wheel? Like, did that song pop into his head?
Screaming it. I am glad that he touches on it too, that, like, knowing that there is a way that, like, to look at the circumstance, because he went on to say that it looked like a scenario that should have been worse.
Oh, yeah.
That the outcome should have been worse.
The pictures of your car, too, like flipped on its side and you guys having to crawl out of your car. The fact that you guys all walked away without a scratch is a miracle. Like, I mean, that's just, and your unborn baby, fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just like craziness. And so, yeah, how can you not be thankful in that moment for sure?
Absolutely. And, his first reaction was to go to Jesus, and he said later on that video, if you want to go see it, it's on his Instagram page, but he touched on the fact that he's like, I'm glad that my instinct was a quick, conversation with God in that moment. And I remember in that moment too, when we hit the side of the road thinking like this, like there's no way that we're going to be okay. There's no way we're going to be okay. And then getting out of the car and looking at it and saying like, I have to give props to God because this should have ended a lot worse.
And how great would it be, like, say it had gone really, really bad, okay, and you met God that day?
Oh my God! Wow!
And no, hear me out. And like your first thing, like when you got there, he was like, "Hey, I appreciate you calling out my name and saying, hey, Lord, protect us." Like that was really a heads up move versus going there and like shame of going, all right, don't hold against me what I said. I was a little stressed, and so you and Matthew both did it right, and it shows where your heart's at. So there you go. That's going to do it for your TMI for today. Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show, and making mistakes is just a part of life. I try to tell my daughter that because she wants to be perfect, like in her new job thing too, and I'm like, oh, she is so wired like me. I see it. I see it all, and I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. In this room, I would venture to say that I've made the most mistakes, basically just because I've had more time on this earth.
That's the only reason?
Only reason, yeah.
Easily.
Only reason.
Interesting.
Not character flaws.
Huh. Well, I mean, you're typically how you handle your daughter is how typical parents do. Like you tell your kids, it's good to make mistakes. You can learn from them. But I found this article that said at some point as human beings, if we keep making mistakes, we stop learning from them. We eventually just lose confidence and then we just stop.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, like you end up making so many mistakes. It's like, oof. So instead, they're saying maybe if you find your kid or maybe if you're an adult and you're just not learning from the mistake, like the mistake keeps happening, sometimes the best thing to do is just to stop, regroup, and try something different.
Okay.
That it's okay.
I definitely, the Einstein's definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. I definitely have been like caught up in that circular downward spiral for sure.
I think a lot of us have.
Yeah,
yes.
and like, no, this time it's going to work, but it doesn't. But I do think that like until you get to that point where it's like, well, it's pointless, like the study says, I do think that if you're cognitive about it, you can learn from your mistakes and you can make mistakes and go, okay, I need to get better at that. I know there are certain things that frustrate me and I'm getting better at dealing with things like at work and things like that, being more constructive versus just going, this is dumb, why are we doing this? Then going, hey, have we ever thought about maybe doing it this way?
So you learned from your mistake.
I did.
You realized that throwing a hissy fit wasn't going to get you anywhere as a grown man.
I know, exactly.
So you realized, you know what, I'm going to handle it as an adult. A mature adult.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's something I'm learning from.
Well done.
And Betty gives me stickers like a child, and so it works.
And it works.
Yeah. So how have you, what was your mistake and what did you learn from it, okay? 855-33-WAY-FM. Maybe it was one that was something you repeated a lot, or maybe it was something that, not doing that again. It could be relationship-wise, could be work-wise, could be parenting, whatever it is. We're just curious, what is the mistake and what did you learn from it? 855-33-WAY-FM. We love having you on the show with us. You are what this show is all about. Like, we have this great caller culture of people that respond when we're talking about stuff, and I love this part of the show. This is what I love doing. So put that number in your phone so you can get right through. 855-33-WAY-FM. So what's yours?
I definitely didn't raise my kids the way I wanted to. Looking back as a grandmother, I was a good mom, but I can see where I could have shown more mercy, not trying to get respect for me and having them to respect the Lord more.
That's interesting because, I mean, there's no perfect parent. And so it's
Right.
interesting that you look at your grandkids and you're like, oh, they're just the best. I want to give them everything. And your kids are like, who are you? Like, this was not how you raised me.
Exactly. You do mellow with me.
So what advice would you give to any young parent that might be listening?
That's just another day. They're learning just like you are, not to put adult expectations on a child who's just started.
Oh, I do love
Man,
that.
that's something I can live by right now working with Wally.
Yeah, don't put adult expectations on me, Betty. Oh, that's a great one. Pam, you're the best. I appreciate you being on the show with us. If you ever can't get through on the phone, Betty Rock also posts this stuff on our Facebook page, and you can comment there as well.
Yeah, Chad said, and I think this is one that you and Gavin could relate to. He said, I've learned that my wife is always right, even if she's wrong.
And she's never wrong.
And she's never wrong.
Yeah.
Kat said, my 6-year-old who knows her own schedule better than I do, I learned I need to listen.
That's tough sometimes listening to your kids, you know, because you're the adult, you should know better. But there are times where they actually have a little bit of insight, and it's good for them to see you listen to them and that they hear that you're heard. They're heard, you know.
On the more serious side, David, he said, my mistake is I am too loyal and I don't give up on people. Sometimes you just have to let a person go out of your life. Not with a lot of drama.
Right.
So.
David just did the classic resume move when they say, what's your biggest weakness? And you're like, too loyal and I work hard. I love too much.
You know what? You're actually right. And I fell for it because I was like, oh, David.
I love David.
Yeah, you're right. He used it as an.
Yeah,
Yep, you're right.
But he is right though. Like that's the mistake you want to learn from is that there are people that in your life they just add drama to it, and doesn't mean that you don't love them. Doesn't mean that you can't care about them. Doesn't mean that you can't pray for them. But it does mean that some people need to be limited in your life,
you
and
need
that's
to
okay.
distance yourself from them.
Yeah, that's
so
okay.
this is me saying, Wally, I need to distance myself.
Well, okay. Good luck.
No, you'll be right there.
I'm not letting you go. I'm like David. I'm relentlessly loyal. I know you don't mean
Leave
that.
me alone.
I saw that going differently in my mind.
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show with a little mind blown.
Mind BLOWN.
That just blew our minds.
I can't follow that.
No, you cannot.
That
mind
I knew
blown.
how to spell it.
Yeah, that's the mind-blowing part. So mind blown is where I try to help you out. If you've ever felt like you don't have an opinion about something or you're not interesting enough in a conversation that everyone else is more interesting than you are, those days are gone for good. If you listen to these and you internalize and memorize some of these little facts that we give you, you can instantly be the most interesting person in any room you're in. Like a lot of times you'll be at a party or something and people will be talking about celebrities. I mean, it's just an easy thing to talk about, stuff like that. And you could bust out something like this, like, oh, that's an interesting thing about Jennifer Lawrence. It's fascinating. She's a great actress. Hey, did you know that there are 18 stars that have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but they're only identified by one name? And you go, huh, okay. It's interesting.
Oh, like Oprah?
Yeah, and so but this is where you have to follow it up with, who do you think that might be? Because you might be surprised. So who do you think is a one-namer on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Betty Lou?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That is two names.
Yeah,
like,
but
seriously?
his is on there as Terminator.
No, nice try, no.
Rocky? Like for...
No, like real people, like not their characters, you knuckleheads.
That's tougher.
See, this is where I've turned on them, and that's not a good way to handle this.
We're leaving.
Yeah, see, that's what you don't want to do. You want to guide them along and bring them in the process. Say, no, that's a great guess, buddy, but but we'll take another one. What do you say?
Hey, little guy.
Yeah, think about
of a celebrity that's known for.
You can't think of one named celebrities?
I said Oprah.
Besides that, she's not on there. Like, it's crazy.
One name.
One name.
I know that they're out there.
Yeah, of course there are.
I don't know. I don't know.
Cher.
Are they Yeah, most of them look like they're musicians.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But she doesn't have a star.
What?
I know, right?
That's a missed opportunity.
It shocks you. Beyonce, that's a great one. No.
Is this just for actors?
I don't know.
Well, how do these people?
Some of these are ones that really surprise me. No.
What?
But now at least you're getting one name,
Kanye.
Gavin.
Well, no,
you have really
Kanye.
upped your game. Bono, no.
Well, okay.
So let me enlighten you.
Please do.
Here are some of the people that have one name on the star, and I guess only 18 of them. That is crazy. Houdini, one name.
That's awesome. Not the great.
No, just Houdini. Ludacris, of all people.
I just need so many more famous.
Yeah, and not there, but maybe they have Drake in his last name or something. But one name, Ludacris. Pink.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Roseanne.
Oh, yeah.
But she's Roseanne Barr, but she just went with one name. Slash.
I don't know who that is.
What do you mean you don't know who that is?
Metal guitarist, right?
Oh my goodness gracious. Guns
Maybe
N' Roses,
played the
guitar
Journey.
player. No, the curly headed guy with the top hat. No, welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We have everything you want. Okay,
I think we got it, Gavin.
Yeah, and Usher and Sting made this
funny.
list as well.
Sting,
Yeah,
yes.
you guys forgot some big ones. So
Dadgum.
again, you can bust this out, and hopefully the people that you're telling this to are a little smarter.
Don't stop
No, stop.
believing.
This is where I would extricate myself from the conversation. I don't need friends like that, actually.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. This is The Rock Report with Betty Rock.
Dolly Parton, she is so sweet. She's awesome. She's known for a lot of cool hits.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Love that God only knows.
Ugh, and that's from decades. Like, I mean, Jolene was probably released in the 70s.
Yeah, and then doing stuff for King and Country and Zach Williams, like in the Christian space. I mean, what can't Dolly do?
Right? Exactly. Well, she's decided to partner with Krispy Kreme Donuts.
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
Yep.
I partner with them too.
Unofficially, Gavin partners with Krispy Kreme.
Well, through the partnership, Krispy Kreme has announced they're releasing 4 new donuts called the Dolly Southern Sweets Collection.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, so you have a glazed donut with strawberry icing topped with a Dolly butterfly.
Okay.
Another one, a peachy keen cobbler donut. How cute is that?
That's Southern, but I don't like peaches.
And then 2 pie-centric donuts, one with banana pudding and the other with chocolate pudding.
Oh boy,
so good.
I can already feel myself breathing heavily.
If you'd like to get your hands on a free Dolly donut, yes, Krispy Kreme is giving you the chance this coming Saturday. So all you have to do, Gavin, if you want one, is you got to show up at one of their locations, either dressed as Dolly Parton or sing one of her songs.
I would go with
Don't
that
you have
one.
a wig? Don't you have a blonde
I do
wig?
have a blonde wig.
Can I borrow that?
You could make 2 runs. You could do one as Dolly and one singing. So then you got 2 donuts.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Right?
Dolly donuts. I would love that idea.
I know. So if you're looking for a free treat, this is your chance.
Yeah, so there you go. Gavin, you're going to be there anyway, so you might as well sing a song and get a little something out of it. All right, that's going to do it for your Rock Report. Thank you, Lady Rock. Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. What a great band, Wren Collective, and their song My Lighthouse. So imagine my surprise when Betty Rock showed me a children's book entitled My Lighthouse, written by one of the ladies in Wren Collective, Allie. And so Betty gave it to me to read because she knows it's the only book club I could be a part of, is Kids Book Club. And so I started reading it, and we had done a story about it. And, like, I struggle with reading. And like I'm reading a children's book, and then I get a few pages in, and I'm like, wait, what am I reading? I've skipped things. I'm not sure where the plot line is going, and it's such a good book. It's well written. I loved it, but I can't even focus long enough to read a kid's book, man.
What does that say?
It's a mess.
It's a problem.
Is my head and my brain, the way it functions, is a mess. But I dove back into it. I went back those pages, and I love it. It's about this little kid that lives in a lighthouse, okay? And he doesn't like the fact that he lives in a round house. Everything's round stairs, round bed, round rug. And he's like, Dad, I just want to live in a square house like everyone else. You know, and his dad's like, well, no, this is what makes you special. And it's good. It's okay to be different. And so he goes through that, and he has to go on an adventure, and then he sees the importance of living in a lighthouse. I don't want to give you a spoiler alert here. No one dies. But
what? The kid's book.
I know, no one dies.
Thank
and
goodness.
So, but it was touch and go for a minute. But I really did enjoy the book. The illustrations, I think, are great. Like I'm geeked about this thing, man. And it's funny the things I get excited about.
Well, and two, when he got to the end of it, or supposedly the end, and I asked him what happened, he gives me a synopsis, and I said, "Did you actually read it, or did you get that just from the pictures?"
The pictures are really good. They're very explanatory. No, but I was surprised. Like I thought it was really good, and again, I like the band too, and so I like to see people branch out, and it got me to thinking, like, what is or who is a person that you would like to see write a kid's book, and why? Gavin, who would you like to see write a kid's book?
I'm going again in the Christian music realm.
Okay.
I'm going with one Mr. Crowder.
Oh, that'd be cool. It could be about a kid who grew a beard prematurely.
He was born with it.
Yes, how great would that be?
I'm picturing it like, I don't know, like Rapunzel style. Like, Crowder, let down your beard.
I wanted to do a kid's cartoon, like a kid's book called Morning Zoo, and it's about us doing a radio show as animals in a zoo.
Oh, that's fun.
And they're all different animals. Like Betty is a thin hippopotamus. And so like just weird takes on things. Betty Rock, who would you want to see a kid's book from?
I would love to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be on bullying and how to like handle yourself.
Yeah, like his
know?
movies are like he has that one about bullying that was good, and then with the small guy
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I just bully him there? I don't think so when I said small.
Yes, you did, and especially when your hand was like measuring him height wise.
Yeah.
That's rude.
I think a good one would be Morgan Wallen. Called What We're Not Gonna Do Today, and do it like Dr. Seuss. We don't throw chairs from buildings or stairs. We watch our words because kindness cares. He could maybe redeem.
Sounds like you need to pitch that to him.
Some of his mistakes in the past. So, all right, we'll open this up to you. It can be Christian or not Christian, whatever it is. But who is somebody that you think would be interesting to have a children's book written by them? 855-33-WAY-FM is the number, but we want your reason for why too, okay? 855-33-WAY-FM. Who is somebody you would like to see a kid's book from that maybe people wouldn't expect?
Well, I think it might be expected. I'm a mom of a 1.5-year-old, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Miss Rachel.
Oh,
She's
yes.
an incredible educator. She's educated me. I'm a first-time mom, and she makes everything so easy to understand. I would love for her to write a book because she's a YouTuber, so she makes YouTube videos for children that have developmental issues. So that would be
okay.
an amazing person to write a book.
Because I've seen her on Good Morning America. I didn't know that there was a focus on developmental, issues, because I was okay, I don't have a young little anymore, and so I didn't get it. I'm like, okay, like what is different about this? I like the Wiggles personally.
Yeah, because of Miss Rachel, my now 1.5-year-old is talking and using sign language at both times.
Wow.
Oh, well, that's really cool. That's got to be a great thing for you as a mom to see your child grow like that. So, okay, we got it down. We'll add it to the list. That's a good one.
Add her to the list because she is a rock star, and I owe her so much for helping me mother my first child.
Heather, who do you think would be somebody that would be a good children's book author that you'd like to see?
John Cena.
Oh, the former wrestler, kind of like The Rock, actually doing like kids' movies and stuff like that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Why?
what would the topic be?
I would believe the topic would be probably something on bullying because he's a big advocate for it.
For or against bullying?
Against.
Okay, just making sure. All right, Linda, you're up. Who would you like to see a children's book from?
Matthew West.
Oh, that's interesting. He's a dad. He has a couple girls, and so that would be interesting. He could do it, too. His would be great if it was like a musical book, too, like if you turned the pages and then like a song was created, because he's so good at writing fun songs.
Absolutely. I saw him at the Kentucky State Fair a couple of years ago, and he talked to like one gentleman in the audience and literally made up a song about him. He is so good at just off the cuff making up songs.
Absolutely. We've had him on the show a bunch of times to make up different songs. Like one time we had him on and we had him write like a spiritual pizza song, and it's pretty good. Here, check this out.
Like toppings on a pizza, God deep dishes out his grace. With every slice of mercy we shove into our face. We're hand-tossed but we're not lost, his delivery was made. God's love is like a pizza, it will never go to waste. He's the master chef, the Lord of life's cuisine, serving up salvation with the love that's so supreme. He's the pizza of our souls, the Savior we adore. Come and taste his goodness and hunger no more.
That is amazing. Yeah. You missed your calling as a punk pop rocker.
Yeah. From the crust of his compassion to the cheese of his embrace, to the sauce of his salvation that fills our pizza place. He's the master chef, the Lord of life's cuisine, serving up salvation with a love that's so supreme. He's the pizza of our souls, the Savior we adore. Come and taste his goodness and hunger no more. Say,
there you go, Matthew West and the overly spiritual pizza song. If you want to check it out, just text the word pizza. We got a video of him doing it. Text the word pizza to 91979 and we'll send you a link. Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show, and it seems like a long time ago, but it was really literally just last week that we finished up Support Drive, and we had an amazing event.
Yes,
I mean, when you look at like inflation going crazy and all the problems in the world, the fact that people chose to support this ministry and say, we stand with you, we believe in the things that you believe in. I love that, and I'm so humbled by that. We had a great event. We ended up over the goal, and so thank you so much. But like every support drive that we have, there's always like a story or two that stick with me, and this is one of them. I wanted to share it with you in case you missed it.
Last July, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I have an estrogen-positive cancer. I found out through all my doctor's appointments that alcohol is a big driver of estrogen, and I had a huge alcoholism problem. And over the course of the last 8 months, with God's strength, say that I've overcome it. I'm still struggling, but every day is a new day. But I had a wine membership. It's been on my heart to just get rid of it. Today, he just kind of spoke to me and was just like, you don't need it anymore. Get rid of it. Donate that money to Way FM.
That stuck with me because of the honesty of it. Because a lot of times we go to church or in, faith circles, we hide our mess. And I really appreciate the fact she's like, look, I'm an alcoholic. I got a wine membership. That's how in this I am. And I'm trying to, but I'm not perfect. And I still am in the battle every day. But I love that she's one of our spokespeople. Like, she's the person that Way FM is built for, and she's turning around and supporting it. And I love that she feels like this is a safe enough place for her to be honest about where she's at. And that's what you do. That's what you allow to happen. That's what you did all last week. You made a place, and you kept a place going that makes it okay to not always be okay, makes it okay to have questions, and you did that. This place is unique, and it's unique because of you. And so I think I speak for Betty and everybody here, Gavin and the whole station at Way FM, when I just say thank you. Thank you for showing up and being part of the ministry that we do here every day on Way FM.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.